We got Montreal, Carolina, 9-10 on the rotation. Carolina minus 150, total 5.5 shade to the under. I don't need to talk about games I have no opinion on, so I'm going to keep my yap shut when it comes to this game. I'm going to let my ice guys do the work for me here. Alex and Dana specifically, they're involved on this Montreal, Carolina game. Honestly, I have nothing on this game. I want no part of either side. Maybe the under, but not enough to get there. Dana, what are you looking at here? Montreal, Carolina. Help us out.
Yeah, you know what, guys? You're talking about that dad's trip, and myself and our friend Alex, you know him too, Brian Blessing. We've been talking about this forever about the dad's trip, and Brian first brought this up. So I decided to track it this year. It's 8-6. Sometimes it's hard to get when these guys are going on their dad's trip, but Minnesota was on their dad's trip and they dropped both games. But then you have Vegas went on, or Dallas went on their road trip and won both games, and Vegas went on their dad's trip and won both games. So it is kind of a cool little trend, and the theory behind it is obviously very solid, and it's at least been over 50%. I think it was a little bit better last year, but certainly worth taking a look at. Now, finding these dad's trips out, and I appreciate Ian for educating me on Toronto tonight, because I didn't know that. But I also know that St. Louis is also on their dad's trip, and they'll be making the trip from Boston to Buffalo. So, welcome, Dad. You get to go to Buffalo and then follow that up with Boston, which will probably make Brian very happy that I ripped on a city. Anyway, Montreal, Carolina, guys. I really feel for Claude Julien, because I see what he's trying to do. He just doesn't have the horses to do it. He wants to win defensively. He sat Jordy Ben the other night, trying to send a message to the rest of the team that you better start playing well, better defensively. And of course, that they didn't respond. I really think that Julian is at a loss right now, and that's the best that I can say it. I can't rely on Montreal offensively. I really can't rely on them to be inspired on a nightly basis defensively. But I do know this. I know Julian is a defensive first coach, and that's kind of why that they brought him in when they did, or one of the reasons. There was many reasons, but they thought that they were just going to play better defensively and ride that game into deep into the playoffs in his first season, and which obviously didn't happen. Um, in fact, the other night on the other side of the ice, it took a 5-minute power play for Montreal just to get on the board. So I really think that this team is a mess. I've said this about the Buffalo Sabres many times, that I just feel like that their locker room is not a cohesive unit. I think that they have some internal issues. I think they've had internal issues forever, but I'm not sure if it's even worse in Montreal. I can't trust this organization or this team to get on the ice every night and give 100%. The only guy I can trust is Carey Price, and you're leaving him out to dry every night, or expecting him to, carry the team on the back. I just think that that's a bad formula for success. Um, the other night, Montreal, if you look at them statistically, and we talked about this earlier, the Canadians got a ton of shots on net. I think they had 34 shots on net, but again, you look at the shot charts and it's from the perimeter. It's really nothing. It's those dirty goals in front, the greasy goals in front that you got to get. You got to be willing to win battles in the corner and in the low slot area. And Montreal just is not a team that's able to do that. Although they did, I saw a number. I like to track it because I think it's a solid number, but I think that they had at least 8 to 10 high quality opportunities to get a stick on a puck, which it shows that they're getting the puck deep. They're just not winning those battles. And I think that if you ask Julian, he'll just say, "Hey, look, he'll give you the Tortorella line that we need to win more battles." So for me, you know me, guys. I like to look at unders, and I can't expect anything from Montreal. And if they score 3 or 4 goals in this one, I'll be extremely surprised. This is a team that's been held to 1 goal or less 17 times this season, which is why they're 28th in the National Hockey League in offense. And now you're taking Paul Byron out of the lineup and his 14 goals after the hit the other night against Parenko, or by Parenko, which was which is strange. Obviously, he just lost his Lady Bing right there, but this is a guy that just doesn't do that stuff. But pertaining to tonight, Byron's going to be out of lineup, and I think that's another huge hit for Montreal. So I think Carolina might put a few up, but I don't think Montreal is going to give us much as far as getting this over the total. So I'm going under the 5.5.
All right, under 5.5. Montreal, Carolina for Dana Lane. No argument. I mean, it's hard to trust either of those teams, quite frankly, to score consistently right now. We saw even Carolina, a 2-1 tight game the other night against Ottawa. So it's not like they're an offensive juggernaut by any stretch right now. We got Larry in the chat saying, I've met Blessing in Vegas a few times. Yeah, I mean, Blessing, tell you what, talk about loyal to Gabe Morency. I mean, I remember going to Gabe's 15th anniversary sports rage party. And here's Brian Blessing sending us a live or a video of him, wishing Gabe happy 15th anniversary from Vegas, him and Rhonda, his wife, and one of those situations where, he just made sure he got his video out there wishing Gabe well. He didn't have to do that. He's still back in Vegas, but he sent the video along. We played it at the show. It was great. And Blessing was his usual bang-up, hilarious self, and it's good stuff. But yeah, Brian Blessing, good guy for sure. Who else is on this game? Alex is on Montreal, Carolina. Go for it, Alex. What are you looking at here?
Well, just kind of echoing the same sentiment as Dana, I'm like the under here. You look back, these two teams played a week ago, and if you wanted to isolate one of the more entertaining periods of hockey throughout the entire season, it had to be the second period when these two teams played. In the span of 3 minutes, you had 5 goals, or 7 goals altogether in the second period. Ended up with a 6-5 battle. So with that being said, I would like to think just the fact that happened alone just a week ago, both teams are going to try and be tighter defensively. Like I said, those weren't most of those goals were, garbage goals around the net. Those weren't a lot of perimeter shots. They were, getting hard into the net, finding their ways to get deep in each zone. So between the fact that both these teams aren't really that great offensively, and the fact that the last time these two played each other, it was a high scoring affair with basically just 3 minutes of action. That was the separator of that high scoring that completely blew that total away. I would look at the under here too at a decent price.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to play the over in this game thinking, oh, it was 6-5 last time, well, hold on now. That's not the characteristic of either of these two hockey teams. And you're right. That over or that under in that last Montreal versus Carolina game, it was blown to bits by a crazy kamikaze, 3 goals in a minute type of scenario. Completely changed the complexion of that total. So you got to be careful with that. When you see those weird games where it's just bing, bang, boom, 1 goal here, 1 goal here, 1 goal here, you got to be a little bit careful.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.